So you have these theme days. So if you're struggling to know who to call and when to call, this is a great document. I would print it and put it next to your monitor and focus on it, right? But Brian, you have these daily, every 5 days, you had that 100-minute block where you were doing your 10 activities with some bit of a rhythm like this, yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's purposeful like that.
Yeah, and I saw the titles, they all said kind of purposeful. And why? We talked about this lots of times. There's many verticals in your business you could be successful on. There's $1 million business just generating leads right there. We were talked about that all the time. Why do a little bit of each?
Well, we talked about tasks. So the only way for you to set the task, otherwise you're just going to willy-nilly lay a task out for sometimes 30 days from now. So if it's 30 days from now as a Sunday, well, it doesn't do you any good. Unless you're planning on calling them on the weekend. So when you have a team, especially having them clear on what day to schedule this type of follow-up task in the future, if it's 30 days or more out, even 2 weeks out, just pick the day of the week that matches the person that you're tasking about, like the lead or the contact, I guess I should say. So once you're clear yourself, then you can make it clear with your team members. So I guess it really only matters in the long run with your team members having clarity, but you can't be a leader and have team members until you have clarity yourself.
Really well said. Doing things like having a document like this in there and showing your team the consistency that you put in, asking these questions, trying to get, all these pieces are a really good example to your team. In fact, my teams use the same document. They don't use it in the same way I use it because my audience is different, but they use it. In my agency, they'll pick up the phone and they'll call people we insure and they'll check on them and do what we call friendly farmer annual reviews. So we'll call them and say, hey, we want to get you on the calendar. We'll send you a calendar link. So everybody in the team can schedule into those blocks. And this is the vehicle which we all make proactive behaviors. So when you're doing your 10 for 10, systems like this and like you had that have a, this is who I'm going to call today. That's the key to sales, right? Because it's consistency.
Yeah. And some of those 10 calls or 10 tasks, you get a voicemail, right? So then you move it off to, okay, you made a voicemail. So when do you follow up on it? Does it need to be followed up on tomorrow? If it's a hot lead, yeah. If it's like, hey, I'm just calling to check in about, I'd like to refinance your house. I know better than you that the rates are way lower than you have. But if your world's too busy, you're probably not going to call, you'll call me back, or I'll probably just push you off till next Thursday and call you again if you're a past client. Or maybe the second time it'll be like a text instead, like, hey, did you get my voicemail? Interest rates are like 1% lower than you have right now. Could save you roughly this much per month. Let me know if you want to talk.
It's really interesting because you go in here, you have your conversation, you put your next touch date. It would make sense. What you just said was, if you're calling a client, put them in your next client day, because that's something you can do, because that's a promise you're making already. You're already showing up.
Well,
right?
then you're just talking to the same type of people that day. And instead of like having a past client call, then having a first time home buyer credit review call, then having whatever, whatever kind of follow up, it's like a VIP, like you're mixing in VIPs, past clients, and brand new clients all in the same day. It just gets sloppy. That's what it turned into for me.
Me too. Well, I think that was helpful.